Joining me now, former Vice Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army and Fox News military analyst, General Jack Keane. Fellow General, nice to see you this morning, General.
Good morning, Clayton.
So we all know his resume now. I think over the past few hours we've been talking about General John Kelly's fantastic resume, four-star general, really remarkable leadership at the Department of Homeland Security. But to Chris Stirewall's point, I think he brings up a great point, and maybe the reason that Reince Priebus failed was that he didn't really have access to being able to control the White House. You had people that were able just to walk right into the Oval Office. You don't have people going through him to book things on the calendar. Will General Kelly be able to rein this in? What do you say?
Well, most people who talk about this have never ever done it, and Kelly probably likely has done this many times. I was a chief of staff to a principal 3 times, and as a commanding general, I had 3 chiefs of staff work for me. It's not a question of being a monitor or a gatekeeper. It's a question of driving, one, the agenda, making certain that that agenda is coordinated, driving the calendar to be sure. And there will always be people that need one-on-one access with the principal, and you don't have to be there. If you're going to be there for all of that, you'll never get your own job done. So let's just take some examples. Kushner, maybe Ivanka, maybe Bannon, maybe McMaster's. They need one-on-one access. What Kelly needs is when they walk out of that office, they come by and tell him, hey, this is what the boss said. So he understands if any decisions were made, if there's something that's different that's happening as a result of it, just keep them informed. But he drives the whole agenda. He doesn't sit on top of it and be a gatekeeper, as people are talking about. The president has to be the president. He has to be his own operating style. He wants to have one-on-one meetings with Scaramucci. That's fine. Kelly's not going to interfere. He's not going to sit there and monitor that meeting. He's got his own job to do. So that's the way you do it. He's going to bring leadership to that position. Leadership is what I'm saying. Well,
and we had Corey Lewandowski on the show earlier. He said, look, no more of this personal agenda stuff in this White House. And I think he was alluding to Reince Priebus and others who've been sort of ousted having their own agenda, not driving the president's agenda. Do you think now we're going to see, under John Kelly's chief of staff leadership, the president's agenda moving forward?
Well, he can't change the personalities of the people that are there. And there's a divisiveness there, and they're working against each other. You know, some of that will still be in residence. He can curb it probably to a certain degree. And I think there is more divisiveness than what we likely have seen compared to other administrations, and that's pretty unfortunate, and it doesn't serve the president very well. He will help just because of his strength of his personality in dealing with that. Look, he is taking, let's just put it right out there, the superstar of his cabinet, where Kelly is the principal. He has his own chief of staff, and he has a huge staff working for him. He's got tens of thousands of people. And what he's doing, he's given all of that up to become a staff person himself. And he's doing that out of loyalty and devotion to the president. And that's testimony to who he is, I think. And I think he's going to serve the president very well.
He has to deal with this intractable Congress, though. That's the next step. Can he get anything done? That's the real question with a Republican-controlled Congress that seems to be in total disarray.
Well, I don't think Kelly by himself is going to have that kind of impact on a Congress, and that's asking too much of the position. We've been watching this Congress, you know, for this last week, and the president couldn't move it, and McConnell couldn't move it, and Kelly wouldn't be able to move it either. So I think we're asking too much of him. But in terms of coordinating with the Congress and making certain they understand where the president is on things, that's very important.
Very important. General Jack Keane, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and fantastic perspective on the chief of staff position. We thank you so much.